guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today I want to show you guys how to sew a standing sleeve. This is a continuation of a series I'm doing on how to sew this particular style of corset. I've gone over how to draft the pattern and how to sew the corset, and now we're going to work on this sleeve. So the materials I'm going to be needing for this is plastic boning, peplum stay, cloth stay, and a doll face. Depending on the style of standing sleeve that you want to do, you're going to take the measurements for it. So for the style which I just showed you guys at the beginning of this video, I'm going to take my measurements from my shoulder point all the way to my shoulder point at the back. That's from the front to the back, and then leave a little bit of space up to see just how high I want the sleeve to be and how wide. So for me, I'm using 21 inches. But I'm also going to need half of an inch on both sides for tacking the sleeve. So I'm using a total of 22 inches for both of the sleeves. This is just me taking the measurement. So this is for the length of the sleeve. For the wideness of the sleeve, I want the sleeve to be exactly 3.5 inches wide when I'm done sewing. So I'm going to need half of an inch on both sides, meaning I'm going to need 4.5 inches. So what I have here is unfold, meaning that I cut out a total of 9 inches for the width of the sleeve, unfold, and when I cut this into two, I'm going to have 4.5 inch on both sides. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and iron this now to my cloth stay. You can also use paper stay for this, but for this video I'm going to be using cloth stay. This is me showing you guys all the materials I'm going to use. So before cutting this into two, I'm going to iron this to my stay, and I'm going to place the wrong side of the doll face to the glue side of the cloth stay. It's usually a bit shining, but for this is the white side of the cloth stay. That's the part that can glue to fabrics. So I'm just going to cut this out, and I'll take this to my ironing table and iron this out. So this is what I have after ironing. I also went ahead to iron this unfold to get that line which I'm going to use and separate this into two equal parts. So I'm just going to cut this out for the both of them. Okay, and then next stage is to cut out the peplum stay for this. So the peplum stay, we're not going to be ironing this to the sleeve, we're going to be stitching it down, meaning that we need the peplum stay for just one side. So what I'm going to do now is place each of these on my peplum stay and cut this out. So you can see that I did not cut this peplum stay to be exactly the same width as the doll face. I'm going to trim that out later. So now I'm going to go ahead and stitch this peplum stay to the doll face. Note that I'm stitching the peplum stay to just one part of the sleeve. You know that the sleeve is two pieces for one. It's just one piece that I'm going to be stitching this peplum stay to, and I'm going to be needing 3 stitches on both sides. The first stitch is to hold the peplum stay down, and the other 2 stitches is to create the boning channel. So the first stitch is going to be right on the edge of the sleeve, just like the way I'm tracing the scissors on it, and the other 2, the first one is going to be half of an inch away from the first sleeve, okay, and it's just going to be all the way down, and then the other one will also be half of an inch away from the second stitch. The second and third stitch is away from the first stitch by half of an inch, because I need that half of an inch to stitch the sleeves together, and I don't want the boning channel to be cut off when I sew the sleeves together. So this is what I'm trying to create. The boning channel is half of an inch away from the sleeve point. So I'm now going to run a stitch here. This is the first stitch. This is the second stitch right beside the boning channel, and the third stitch is on the other side. So I'm going to do the same thing for both sides of the sleeve for the 2. I'm going to do that on the sewing machine, and I'll be right back. I've gone ahead to stitch everything down, and these are the stitch lines Hopefully this will help you understand what I explained better. So the boning channel is going to be passed through this point, but before I put the boning channel in it, I'm going to stitch the other part of the sleeve to it using the 1/2 inch sewing allowance. Then I'll go ahead and trim off the excesses at both sides before turning this out. So guys, after turning this is what I have, and I have gone ahead to iron this out. So the next thing I'm going to do now is put in the boning. Note that you have to use a plastic boning for this because the plastic boning have more structure than the stitchable boning. That is why I'm making emphasis on that. So I'm just going to cut the length I want. I'm making this 1 inch shorter than the actual sleeve length. And then I'm going to go ahead and use fire to melt the edges of both of them so that it will not poke me and it will not tear the fabric. After that, I'm just going to pass this through the boning channel which I created on one part of this sleeve. Okay, and after doing this, I'm basically done with the sleeve already. So you can go ahead and stitch this down like this, but I personally want this to be a bit slim at the edge. So after I'm done inserting the boning, this is what I have, and I'm just going to fold this like this and tack it down before adding this to my dress. So you're just going to use a needle and thread to sew this to your fabric. If you want to attach it, you can do this on your sewing machine, and then use an applique to cover this rough edge that you can see here on the screen. Okay, so this is what I have after I finished attaching this. So my next video is going to be on how to make this 3D applique that you can see on the screen here. Thank you guys for watching this far, and I'll see you guys in my next one. Please don't forget to like and subscribe for more.